Hi, I'm Kelly from Kelly J Jewellery. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this cute ring. Another quick one for you this week. I would just like to take a second just to say thank you to all of my lovely supporters over on Patreon. I really appreciate you guys. I'll put your names on the screen. Thank you all so much for your continued support. I really couldn't do it without you. Thanks everybody. To make this ring, you'll need 0.8mm wire or 21 gauge square wire, and I've cut 3 lengths at 7 inches, which is 18 centimeters. I've got 21 gauge half round wire, and I've cut 25 inches, which is 64 centimeters. If your ring is a little bit bigger than mine, and I'm making quite a small one, a size 5, you'll need a little bit extra on that wire, just to get all the way around the band. You'll need a small stone today. So today I'm using a flat back and mine is 6mm. Anything that kind of size, so anything similar to that, and you can use a pointy back stone if you want to. You need a little bit of weaving wire today. Mine is 0.315mm, which is 28 gauge, and I'll put the measurement on the screen. Might be using a few small beads. Tools, we've got pliers, round nose pliers, cutters, nylon pliers. If you don't have these, don't worry, I just like having them handy for straightening the wires and flattening the weaves, and I'll put a list of all these in the description. You need a ring mandrel too. I always forget to mention it, just to shape your band. First we need to work out how long the band needs to be. So if you take your mandrel or your finger, measure around it with your tape measure. This middle piece is going to be about 1.5 centimeters, so minus that from your measurement that you've just measured, and we will start, if you position your thumb centrally on the wires, we'll start half of that weave measurement to the left, so that your band, your weave, your wraps sit centrally on those wires. Doing a simple wrapped band today. I did a ring with the wraps the other day, and I love the feel of it as a band. The wraps give it that little bit of extra strength as well to keep it circular, and I just really love how it came out. So I'm going to do another one. So what we need to do is wrap this wire flat side facing your square wires, and we need to go around and around. So you can go around like I just did, or you can turn the whole thing around, and then that'll keep your wire nice and flat. Every now and then push it all together with your pliers or your fingers, and I like to flatten it all down too. So I've done about 4.5 centimeters of wraps. Really do keep pushing them together the best you can, and we'll get it round the mandrel. We won't cut the wire just yet, we can cut the beginning, but let's get it round the mandrel in case we need to add any more wraps to get the size right. You cut that little tail off from the beginning, take your mandrel and wrap around for the size that you want. So part your wires so that as you bring it together they kind of crisscross each other. The outer wires need to come out, and the middle wires are going to come back. So bring that around. You want roughly about 1.5 centimeters across the middle there, so you can add or take your wraps if you need to. Obviously you need to do that before you start bending the wires out, or it's going to get a bit awkward. So shape your wires. You can do it while it's still on the mandrel if that helps. You want them to come up together and to come down together. So we can lose this now. I'm going to cut that and just bend it over back. The middle wire of the 3, I'm going to bend it back on both sides. And we'll deal with that one in a moment. So we've focused on these 4 wires and we want them to come down nice and evenly, so they kind of meet nice and centrally. So then take your weaving wire and we're going to weave like a figure of 8 across these 2 wires and then across these 2 wires. So starting on the left 2, so the left 2 outer wires, I'm going to attach with a few wraps around the bottom wire. You can probably hear Gracie snoring her head off already. So just a simple weave, we're going to go over the top wire, push it down, and we'll go around again, over the bottom wire, go around again, and just keep repeating that. So we're going to weave until the wires meet, and as you get to this point the wires are a bit too close, so you need to wrap around a couple of times and then go over, and then I'll wrap a couple of times, so instead of just wrapping once we're wrapping twice, just until we get to the end of the weave there. I think that's enough. Just I want my weaves to meet in the middle there, so I'm going to cut this tail end from the beginning. I'll cut the other wire as well, but I'm going to leave a little bit. I'll leave about 6 inches still on there in case I need to add or take repeats from that. And then I'm going to do the same to the other side, so turn it around and we'll do the same weave over these 2 outer wires so the weaves meet in the middle, and then increasing it to a couple of wraps for that last bit. So we're going to end that. We don't really need to cut the wire off, we can just finish it here. So all I'm going to do is make sure it's all pushed down. I'm going to wrap around both wires a few times, come up between, and wrap around a single wire a couple of times. Cut that wire, press down that little cut end, doing the other end the same, and cut off any tail ends you've got from the beginning. So I've joined that end. Have I gone around twice? I think I've only gone around once. Cut all your ends. So we're just going to press into the weave a little bit, just so it's not pushing forward. The stone is going to sit on the weave. We're going to grip those 2 top wires there. Make sure your weave is really pressed down. I'm going to bring them straight over the front. I think I'm going to twist one of them first. So I'm going to grip the end with my nylon pliers, and I'm going to put a slight tension on it, and I'm going to twist to put a nice effect in that wire. If you're not using square, then don't bother, because it only works with square wire. Nearly done. I'm going to do that with the other one as well, actually. So looking at it, I've had the one on the left, so turn it over, and I'm going to take the wire on the left and I'm going to twist that one too. So I've twisted those, and what I'm going to do is with the other wire, this the bare one, so the right one, I'm going to add wraps. So I'm going to use 24 gauge half round wire, and I've cut two lengths at 8 inches, which is 20 centimeters, and I'll add that to the beginning. I'm just going to add coils to that other one, so putting the flat side against the wire. I'm going to add coils to that bare wire, and I'll do the same to the other side as well. So I've wrapped the other side as well. So what I need to do now is cut off the little tail end from the beginning. I won't cut the end so we can add and take wraps if we need to. I've got another little tail end there, so go over it. Need to pull these wires back together at the top. Right, so where was I? You take these two wires and we're going to bend them over the front. Pushing them both slightly over to the left, and I'm going to position my stone on that weave. And those two wires are going to come over the stone and over to the right. They won't go over the stone at the moment because I'm using a flat back. It's just going to keep popping out. So I'm just going to pull them over that way a little bit so I can bring these two. I'm going to bring these two wires over the front too. And those two are going to go out to the left, scoop around to the right, and the stone is going to go inside that little gap there and sit against the wood. So when you've wrapped around, you can then see how long those wraps need to be. So this one is fine because it's going to go over the top there. This one I need to undo a little bit just so it comes to there. So we'll cut those half round wires. Pressing down those little cut ends. Then we need to look at this bend here. This bend needs to be flatter so that the wires are closer to the stone. So very carefully we need to flatten that bend, and your stone is going to jump out, so you've got to be careful. This will push the wires closer to the stone, so I'm just pushing that bend a little bit flatter. Then look at your stone. You really want to shape these wires as they come around your stone, just trying to get a bit more light. So the coiled wire is coming more over the front, and the twisted wire is going more around the side. And we're going to bring the wires over the side when you're sure when you're happy with them, we're going to bring them over. Whoop. Make sure your stone's in the right place before you secure your wires. So when you're happy with the shape, the stone needs to be trapped. No other wires are going to hold it down now. I've also put it back on the mandrel because I really misshaped it too. I'm going to take these wires and we're going to finish them around the side there. They're just going to wrap around the weave. So holding those wires in place, we're going to twist it around the weave. And really press it in and squeeze it around. I'm going to have to bend those forward a bit just so I can get in and show you. So press it around and squeeze it around that weave there. So it's definitely secure. Make sure everything's pressed together. And do the other side too. Right, so I've straightened my outer wires. We just got these 2 wires left. Whoops. And there's no way those little 2mm beads are going to fit on this square wire. No way. It'll just about fit. They'll just about fit on my round wire. So what I'm going to do is bend it down at the base. And I'm going to bring it around in quite a tiny little curl. Like that. Do the other one too. Make sure it's nice and straight first. Push it down at the base. And then bring it around. And you want a nice, tight, tiny curl. Trying to match it up to the other side. My ringer's actually misshaped this way. That's a bit better. And then I'm gonna, whoops, I didn't want to do that. And then I'm gonna just scoop it down and wrap it around the band. And I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm going to try and match up the shape. And then take that one around the band. So if I squeeze it first, be a bit easier. Right, I think we're done. I need to run and oxidise mine. So there we have it, finished. I've oxidised mine. If you'd like help oxidising yours, I've done videos on oxidising and aftercare. I'll put links in the description below. I have put the links in the description below, they weren't there before. I've been saying it for ages and they weren't there, but I've added them now. So thank you for watching. Thank you to all my patrons. Please share with me all your finished work. I would love to see what you've made, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now. Bye.